Hello everyone. Welcome to the Heart's Frontier. I'm back for a Sunday weekly live collective energy reading. And yeah, really happy to be here to do some oracle stuff. And I just wanted to say, thank you for understanding as I've needed to take more time to do this little switch over on my channel. And this week I'm starting to film with the HD setup, and then I'll be also releasing some relaxing hypnosis recordings, some healing things. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I think I'm not going to include, should I include Instagram? I really flip flop on this. Sometimes it's really nice to have the Instagram people here, and sometimes it's like, there's not enough going on there for it to make sense. What am I going to do? Maybe a pendulum. Will a pendulum do? I don't have one right here. I teach another trick, which is through the finger muscle testing. Okay, maybe we'll do yes. Why not? Let's invite Instagram. So let me know if you have questions. Oh, hey, Genevieve. Hey, Cassie. Hey, Alexandra. It's nice to see you all here. Nice to be here. La, la, la. I really went through like a big metamorphosis, kind of like where is this at, and what else do I want to do here, and how can I be giving more? Are you guys just laughing at me being in a good mood? This metamorphosis was really like, I don't know, I think it really showed me that I've changed since I've come here to Scotland. There's definitely a shift that happened. I've had some of my friends comment on it, but I wasn't really clicking onto it. Euphoric week, which came to a head last night with pendulum swinging to the other end. Yeah, there's been a lot of like seeming dramatics almost, I think, with a lot of people's lives. So you're not alone, Genevieve. There's definitely like a lot of there's a lot of intensity in the air in general. And there's a lot of also like stagnant waiting periods. Like it's a really strange, like I'm noticing both things coming from clients being like, I feel stuck. I'm not really sure why this keeps repeating. I don't want to keep going, through this type of thing. And that kind of like, oh my gosh, like the resurgence of all of our shadow things, right? Which is interesting because I mean, in Empath Energetics round 5 right now in this group session, we are currently in shadow work. So my shadows make a lot of sense as to what was coming up and why I need to address those things, and brought up a lot of feelings for me about wanting justice in the world on many, factors and scales, and also asking myself, what am I doing about that? Right? Like life isn't happening at me. It's happening for me. It's happening with me. I'm alongside for my life. Right. Shadow came in hot and heavy last night. Yeah, I totally understand that. I had I mean, I could go into this for days and days, but I'll save it for now. Otherwise, I'm just telling you all details about me and not actually doing our weekly energy read. So I'll do a weekly energy read. Let me invite Instagram because I said I would. I'd include them and be all nice. Do we? Always a challenge to decide where I want to put Instagram because sometimes you can really hear the laptop fan. And if I don't have them placed in the right spot, they also get way too much light. So this is so bright. Let's see whether that works better. Okay. So yeah, get in your questions. Let me know what questions you might have. I'm feeling past lives, so that's interesting. I don't often bring in past lives for readings here. Let's do live collective energy reading weekly. It's just a whole bunch of words. People will just have to come on if they feel like it. I really am. It's so fussy. So fussy. Oh, goodness. Okay. Welcome, Instagram. At least YouTube I'm loving right now. Instagram, it's like always to the side. So we'll just see if anyone comes on through there. Can you enlighten me with what you feel collectively and for myself? I'm definitely feeling rewards, but yeah, shadow came in hot and heavy, trying to sit with the restlessness. Yeah, I think restlessness is really fair. Restlessness is a bit of the feeling I've been getting as well. Also, like restlessness because you're just so aware that things are changing, right? So if things are changing, of course you're going to feel restless because you're actually trying to adjust to that frequency that's coming in. So I kind of see these things as like a bit of a dance, right? Oh, hey, Pamela. Hey, how's it going? Okay, so I feel like the way that this energy is moving, it's sort of like it is very much about the pendulum swing, Genevieve. So it's kind of talking about sometimes things are coming in and you need to match to their frequency, and other times things are happening because of you and whatever frequency you're in. So like there is always a dance, and it's in tandem with each other. So sometimes we're experiencing things as like coming at us and feeling like, whoa, that's like a lot of stuff happening that we kind of need to adjust to. And other times we're having the opposite, where we're feeling like, oh, the universe or spirit is just sort of inviting me to do this thing or that thing, or that's where I have to go next. So it's sort of like, where are you feeling your sense of power? Are you feeling that you can make decisions, or are you not feeling like you can make decisions? And that's where some of that restlessness might feel. It's like, oh, I need to go move, I need to do something, but really it's coming for you. So you don't need to worry so much about having to go meet it. It's like you're already doing that. It's almost like the restlessness is why you're trying to meet that. But let's do a weekly collective read, see what's up for all of us. Yeah, there was a lot of like repeated cycles, a lot of like things circling, coming up that feel negative, but in actuality, they are doing a dance with you. Like they're trying to say, hey, like if you have a lesson here to learn, it's time to learn it. Energetic responsibility and representing is my message. Yeah, absolutely. Energetic responsibility is like very much the tone of a lot of the collective energy I've been feeling, which means holding other people accountable for like and responsible for things, as well as yourself accountable and responsible to things. Let me know if you guys have questions. I'm seeing lots of questions coming in on the YouTube, so that's great. Thank you for all being here on the YouTube. Also, feels really important to me to continue cultivating this nice little space for us, and I really love doing this work. So thank you for letting me do this work here. Okay, we have intuition, and intuition has an eye on the heart. And I'm like seeing it through the eyes of love, right? So whatever it is you're experiencing, seeing it through the eyes of love is going to support you much better than seeing it through the eyes of like suffering or challenge or pain, or things that maybe are like old news. That's what I'm feeling. It just feels like clearing away old stories about how things used to come in, and just seeing it differently from the get-go. It says each person's road to the inner Lord is extraordinary and personal. How liberating to listen inside and sense moment to moment what's needed. So it's like a feeling of like you don't need to have everything figured out right now, but it is important that you go from moment to moment saying yes. And if you were to say yes to all those things that feel like relaxing or energizing in a strengthening type of way, then moment to moment your moments become clearer and guided. And I'm also having this feeling of like there's something really important coming in to someone's life, and so this might be multiple, but like a really, really, the word is just important. It's like a really, really important shift is happening. Something that perhaps you've been waiting for years, or maybe dreamed about, or maybe we're like afraid to admit in some way. Like it almost feels like a shift or an important change that you denied yourself. And so I think before something like that comes in, if you're sensitive to energies, you'll be feeling like that change. Like you'll be, this is what I'm trying to explain before with vibration. It's like you're kind of trying to pre-adjust to the changes that are coming in. So then that's unsettling because it doesn't make sense why you would be feeling that way yet. But if you could trust that some of that like tension or sort of like, I don't know, nerves maybe is leading you towards that, then I think that would help. We also have flow for the weekly collective. Instagram is doing nothing. I'm gonna end that. Goodbye. Discard. It was just, Instagram, sometimes I really like, and sometimes I just think people are so passively on there that it's, YouTube, I really feel like you guys are here and engaging, which is Awesome. It's not to like throw shade on Instagram, but how silly is it for me to look when there's like one or two people and they're like, oh, you're cute, and then they go away, you know? Flow. Allow me, divine, to move with the flow and respond with calmness and peace. So, through all of the waves and turnings and things that are like maybe rockiness that comes our way, it's like the more we can lean into that peaceful, or yeah, I mean, I guess calm approach, the easier it will be for us to expand and handle more. Because as things come in, if they're like stuff you're used to dealing with, in a kind of more chaotic way, or you'd really react to it. Ooh. If you were to like really react to things, then it's like harder to take on what life has in store. Whereas if you're managing your reactions over time, like think about how you would deal with whatever's resurfaced for you lately that feels like of a shadow pattern for you, like some sort of dark side of you where you're like, ooh, I don't really like that aspect of myself, or this really my throat, this like really holds me back in life. And like when you're admitting these things to yourself, when you're looking at the ways that you are that you are in your shadow self and not in your positive or brightest lightest self, those aspects that are like currently resurging, are you reacting to them in a more heightened way or in a more peaceful way compared to a few years ago? You know, sometimes we go into like a few years cycles and then we'll sort of resurge with, whoa, all this stuff sort of comes up to the surface. And that's a-okay. You know, that's how life moves. We are meant to actually, it's not meant to be easy. We're meant to be growing in this lifetime. So if more stuff happens and you can rise to that, then you're doing great, actually. You're not really meant to, I don't feel you're meant to be at a place where everything is just like so peaceful and easygoing and like nothing touches you, because I just think that's actually a little passive. Um, I don't know, maybe it is for some people fine to have that. I've noticed more heart-centered growth happens when also like my feelings have to get involved in some way. And there's always like some rising above circumstance that allows me to feel stronger and therefore grow. And my soul grows with that. My wisdom grows with that. Okay. So we have knighthood and Atlantis from the past life. And I was feeling this like this justice kind of feeling of like, what battles are you wanting to fight right now? And they say, I've used this before on this channel because I like this sentiment, which is like the enlightened warrior versus the unenlightened warrior. And the unenlightened warrior faces all these battles outside of them, while the enlightened warrior understands that the battle is within, which I really love. I really love that idea that actually like we're not really fighting as much in the outside world as we think we are. It's our own interpretation of things, right? Because you could have an absolutely like miserable seeming life and you could actually react to it totally differently, or you could have a life that looks perfect, and of course we know these people that their life looks like so glossy on the outside, and then you see in and you realize it's not that way. And it's so much more, this is what I was saying too about, you know, isn't it nicer to actually have a full range of experience in life, even though maybe when things are difficult and gritty it can feel challenging to admit that. Okay, this Atlantis piece also feels like part of that going with the flow. I'm really just feeling drawn to the fact that there are dolphins on there and getting this sense of play. So if you are taking things super seriously right now, because this is something that I definitely feel in the collective energy today, is like people taking things really seriously. Like, I don't know, I posted this recently as well. I think I posted it this week saying that my ancestors always want me to play. And this is true of any time I've interacted with most of my ancestors. Sometimes they come in with a different kind of message, but often the undertone of a lot of it is like, you need to enjoy this life. You are doing it well. You need to have fun. And I'm like, that seems so easy almost, but it's not. It's not as easy to find consistent ways to play and to have fun and to look at the light side of things. It requires a lot of efforts. And I think effort's well spent, but okay. Let's see what else comes up. I'm sure we'll see more of this collective kind of energy as we're going through the readings, because that's why we do these things, You get everyone with all these different situations in life, and then there's some similar sort of patterns. Definitely in Soul Circle, because we're a fairly connected group in the Soul Circle Oracle sessions, we get a lot of those like, wow, that's going on with me. Yeah, me too. Or like one card will really resonate for someone because of one reason and will resonate with another person for a different reason. Also, I have rose incense going today. So definitely feeling this like feminine love. Oh no, it's violet. Yeah, it's definitely, okay, it's violet, but it's still very like feminine, like loving, but also like affectionate kind of energy. So affectionate and playful is what I'm feeling, like to look for a joy. It's like joy within the justice and like making sure things go the way that you would like them to go this time, instead of just allowing these shadows to kind of resurface and then throw you overboard. You know what I mean? Okay. Good morning, everybody. La, la, la. Okay. Genevieve, can you enlighten me with what you feel collectively? Check. And for myself, I'm definitely feeling rewards, but yeah, shadow came in hot and heavy, energetic responsibility and representing. Yeah. Okay. What do I want to say for Genevieve? Yeah, I feel for you, it's definitely like cycles. So it feels like I feel like that frustration of like, do I seriously need to keep repeating this, is what I'm feeling with your energy. And I understand that. Breath, forest. So you might actually feel drawn to going out to a forest. I've been giving this advice a lot lately because it just feels important in the collective energy in general to be spending time with our tree friends. I really bonded with a tree here at Anamkara that I hadn't bonded with to that level before recently. And I keep feeling like, oh, I need to make a pathway to actually get to this tree, because it's quite like a gnarly pathway to even end up at that tree. But it's so beautiful. And like, you'd have to go down from my deck, and like then I would have like a whole little space down there, which, I mean, we gotta love outdoor living spaces when we live in a small house, which I love this small space. I realized I still haven't shown you all it, but this is like the best corner so far because it's like nicely set up, and I do want to paint things, so I kind of just feel like showing it off when it's done. Instead of filming a whole bunch of things and then just being like, this is going to change. This is what it looks like messy. You know, this is what it looks like before it's done. I don't know. I do have a lot of dreams for how to update this space. It might take longer than I anticipated. Okay. What else? Genevieve, this stuff feels so family connected to you, and it feels connected to family that you haven't even really like done work with yet in your spiritual work. So it says DNA and karma. You also have forest and breath. And when I think about a forest, I kind of think about like a whole family of trees. Like you have different types, but they sort of work alongside each other, and it's like a community in a sense. But they're all on their own, right? But the roots are much more connected. And so I just feel like a lot of the things that are happening that feel like shadowy are from an old pattern that's like before you were born, and that's why it feels like so difficult to shake off. And that's what happens. I think that's probably why we have the past life deck out. That tends to come up when it's things that are like subconscious patterning and old stuff that is like, why the heck is this even happening? We don't really have a good reason for it, and it's because it's from before we actually had consciousness and like awareness of our stuff and our things. Yeah, I don't know, I just feel like a sense of this is, oh, we can definitely work on, I mean, it'll automatically get worked through with hypnosis. So, yeah, if there's like a specific symptom, pattern, or habit, like I'm really excited to do hypnotherapy work with you. You guys know I love my hypnotherapy work. It's like the coolest, most powerful, direct way of looking at what the root of the challenge is, so that we can also be unburdened from it and be relieved from it. If there's anything I've learned from doing mediumship work, which is another thing I do, it's that when we leave this world in our bodies, we leave not bringing our baggage with us. And so isn't it the most beautiful thing as we go through our lives to try and remove some of that baggage for our own selves? It's not like we're going to take it with us. It's not like we need it. Why are we bringing it around? We're only bringing it around usually to fulfill some kind of, or to match some kind of feeling that we have, that we feel we deserve. So big stuff. But We're getting another flow card here for you, Genevieve. So this is like the support, ocean, ebb and flow. I was feeling a lot of that energy of just like, hey, you know, some things go this way, some things go that way. You live a really dynamic life, and anyone who does growth is going to realize there's points of like ebb and flow, really. And I'm getting a lot of the turtle energy. You see me doing my turtle. Because turtles, you know, they're so awkward on the sand. They're like, you know, it's like very difficult for them to kind of move. And, you know, someone could just pick them up by the shell and, you know, place them, move them where they need to be. And so I'm getting this like awkward turtle where you're like, oh my gosh, this sand is hot. I can't move. I don't know what I'm doing. Like maybe I've never been anywhere, you know? And then you realize, you remember as soon as you hit the water as a turtle, oh, this is that current. Oh, that's this current. And you go so much faster. And it's so smooth and so sweet and so chill, you know? It's like the Finding Nemo turtle. He's funny energy. Um, what else? Manifesting. Yeah. Yeah. Whoop. That was, I don't know if that was the right one. Yeah, there was another one that flipped too. That's funny. So you have demonstrate love, Genevieve, find out what is important to those you love and act on it. I actually feel like this is like find out what's important to your ancestors. It actually feels much more connected to your ancestral line or family in general, but further back than the people who are currently around you. It's not to do with the people who are currently around you, but obviously it'll affect that. So whatever this shadow is, it feels like something you're playing out because some other ancestor had a difficult time letting go of it. And you're like, I'll take that for you. But it was all done in the spirit world. So it doesn't really make much sense to you as like human yourself. And this says love who you are. So maybe it's like trying to prove yourself, like some kind of self-acceptance piece definitely matches this tone. It says, you are divine, delightful, and deserving of the wonderful things life has to offer. And you know what happens? Sometimes we get a lot of good stuff happening in our life, and then we have a hard time accepting it and receiving it. And so we stop ourselves from enjoying our life, even though everything is there. And I know I do that to myself. You know, this current life that I'm living is so dreamy. There's so many aspects to it that are like, wow, Kate, you really did that. Hey, this is really working for you. And of course, there are elements which are totally not functioning the way that I'd love them to. That's the whole point of growing. Why would I want everything sorted out at all times? That would make no sense. I actually love learning, love growing, love changing, love transforming. Otherwise I wouldn't do this work. You know, it's all about transformation in this work. And so, you know, it becomes us. We have to do that. And same with Genevieve. It's like you're focusing on growth in your life. And so it will need to take times of decay and times of shift and times of discomfort. It's just a part of the process. It's kind of like awesome, actually, when you start to realize how many times you've done that cycle and how familiar it is, right? You're awkward on the sand and you're always awkward on the sand. And then you get into the water. That makes sense. Often the drama comes in when I have different priorities than the other people around. Right. And so it's like having to self-protect, having to say, no, I want this priority to be like met. Okay, well then you need to do that. And it doesn't matter that people are with you, right? Maybe there's like some sort of attachment and people dependency that came in from this past life or from your ancestors. I feel like it's more family line. And if it's, you know, this is very familiar. There's a lot of people where there's females in their ancestral line who felt like they weren't allowed to do anything on their own. Could that be a part of it? Or could it be, I feel like I'm taking everything on my own. I'm just used to having someone with me. Okay. So then how can you let that go or address where that comes from? Okay. Hopefully that helps. I definitely think the energetic responsibility of like self-protection is very important. And it feels for me, as I tune into your energy, much more of like, I want to give you the direction to say you need to pay close attention to your desires and not allow other people to get in the way. I just know that sometimes people aren't trying to get in the way. So it can be difficult to do so, but worth it. Totally worth it. And you're worth it. Alexandra, what do you see for the Trism? The reason my grandson doesn't sleep through the night, what can we do to help with the situation? And then there's another question if time allows. Okay. Sleeping through the night. Okay. It feels like your grandson is taking a lot, this is theme of the day, but it feels like your grandson is taking on a lot of responsibility. So I feel like he's like a little adult and he's trying to work through everything. He's trying to figure everything out before something bad happens. Like I think he's worried that something bad will happen if he doesn't think through things because maybe who he's around, it doesn't feel like they're always thinking everything through, or that he doesn't trust that they've got life handled because something feels chaotic or doesn't feel very right about his surroundings. So your grandson, I feel like, is really just like in little adult mode in his mind. And it feels stressful. It feels like he's like sorting through. You should have added more info. I mean, it's up to you. I don't need more info, to be honest. But if you feel like you want to share or you have another question, let me know. Um, I've got some other questions as well. So that's fine. 6-month old, you could still be feeling like a little adult and trying to figure out how things are working. And it's an energetic thing. So whether or not he's like logically, language wise doing that in his mind or just feeling that type of pressure, it's the same. I mean, energy is energy. So it doesn't surprise me that he's quite young because it felt like he was yeah, quite innocent. But I know for me, like I took on responsibility from a very, very early age before, and so this is how to help. The energy of chaos that's around him, you need to trust that he's going to be able to handle that as he needs to, because everyone has a different life path and a different life plan here. I do feel like massaging his feet, his little toes. I feel like that would really be beneficial. So on a physical side, and something you can do, or people can do to support his sleep, the massaging like the big toe, and there are reflex points in the big toe that help release melatonin. I almost said melanin. That's definitely not melatonin. So if you massage the bottom of the big toe, for a while before he goes to sleep, or keeping things very relaxing, even sweeping on the feet. So it's like, imagine this is a foot and then just sort of sweeping energy away and just saying, like, just taking the burdens, taking the pressures off. And it's just a really loving kind of touch, just super, sweet energy wise. But the energy of worry is like, I know it's like one of the most difficult things for grandparents and parents to take out of their minds. I totally get that. It is like a natural thing and it's a societal conditioned thing. I think it's so much more beautiful to have faith that they are going to face all the challenges that come in their life. And so when babies stress like about things, that is them learning how to shift and adapt into the world. This baby is getting stronger because he's like, whoa, okay, I'm not quite actually like fully present. I'm going to need to sleep more, but that's really hard because I'm thinking about this thing and I was thinking about colors and I'm trying to understand color, This is a lot to take in at 6 months. Like that is a whole big fresh world. Imagine how, all of us could have felt in some way before we could communicate fully. He's worried he's a Capricorn. Yeah, yeah. I love Capricorn energy. I'm trying to spend more time around Capricorns, actually. I'm like made a mission out of it because my North Node is in Capricorn, which means throughout the course of my lifetime, my whole legacy is shifting from Cancer energy, past life karma, into Capricorn North Node energy. So I think it's a really beautiful energy, actually. And I do think it's because he's seeing like he has to take things on. And so if you just continue the energetic thought of like, you get to be a kid, you don't need to take anything on, like just the feeling of that even will help, because it's not, no one's telling him that that's how he has to be. Yeah. Yeah, and sort of like consider them a part of this. The card isn't really that important. I was sort of feeling enough into this anyway. The card is act as if your partner is here, which the interpretation for me of it is consider as if this 6-month-old is with you, and just send like loving, peaceful thoughts at night. Like just adding in good thoughts. I promise you, in so many more situations, prayer helps way more than people anticipate or understand. And prayer always, always outweighs worry when I'm making a choice of how to use my thought and how to choose my thoughts around a situation that I have tension about. Prayer always works over worry. It does. Okay, let's see. What else? What else? Pamela, feeling a strong need to walk away from close family members. Yeah, there's like a big vibe of like, what are we leaving behind? What are we walking away from? What is like a repeated pattern we just do not need to choose? And the power of choice is feeling really important. A card or cards for this. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna do earth magic. Ooh, I feel like a sense of actually like sickness, even feeling like the energetic attachment these people have to you feels as though they like you almost feel unwell after spending time with them. Let me know if that's true, Pamela. Ooh, I feel like lots of like really funny, lots of really funny physical. Yeah. I mean, this is for everyone. Don't spend time with people who make you feel ill. I once dated a guy. This is so awful. I have a couple funny stories about like many probably because I'm a sensitive person. So, the body shows me different things that are going on in my life and I learn from my body. I had this one ex I guess a guy I was dating, and we just weren't meant to be, but I really was feeling shy about ending things with him because I knew it would really hurt his feelings, and it's like there wasn't anything super wrong. So, when you're in that just uncomfortable place where you're like, okay, well, nothing really, and you might feel this too, Pamela. It's like nothing actually super clearly hit the fan. So it almost feels like you're stirring conflict up just to say something. And, I wanted to make sure that it was like, for sure something that needed to be left. Anyway, I kept getting like migraines and headaches every time I hung out with him. And it was so bad because it was like I couldn't even hang out. And so then I was like, well, I can't really like end things when I have a headache, but also like I really need to end things so I don't keep getting these headaches. It was like so, yeah, it was like so obvious and so clear. You can't like unknow that, right? I've also had it where I wasn't meant to be seeing an ex-boyfriend of mine. It really was not a positive time for us. We weren't connecting in a way that was healthy or useful to us. Um, and when I would hug him, it smelled like someone had been sick, and it was, like, so bizarre because we knew that that hadn't happened, and I was, like, very open. I was, like, telling him, "Oh, this is so weird," and then I realized after, I was like, "Man, that probably means I shouldn't spend time with that person." And now, they don't smell the same way to me. It was really just a temporary thing at that time to give me some sort of physical discomfort enough to say, okay, that's worth it enough to go. Because sometimes we think something and we can just outthink ourselves and go, oh, whatever. I've dealt with hard thoughts. I'll just go on with that. Okay, let me pull a card here for you, Pamela, as it relates to your family. Yeah, okay. They're not even physically here, but energetically. Yeah, hard when it's your mom and sister, but it's been a lifetime of this. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you know what? I mean, I can feel you all here when I do this collective reading, and I know you're all far. Well, Pamela less far, but most people very far. Like Genevieve is super far locationally from where I am right now. But I can feel so clearly this person's energy. And, this happens to me often because telepathic things, psychic things. I'll be walking around my house and just be like, wow, I'm in such a funky mood. And I'll realize it's totally someone's energy that I had spent time with like a couple of days ago. And then I'll realize, man, why didn't I sever that? Okay, what is Kate feeling? And it'll totally change the game. So I will say there's some of that like psychic kind of telepathic, especially with mums and sisters, like that's around in your head. My mom and sister recently hung out, and obviously I can't be there. They're in Canada. But my parents are moving closer to my sister. She hasn't been talking to me, just at one of these phases in life, I think, where that doesn't feel in alignment for her, which makes me sad. But as an older sister, you just have to let it go and wait and see how things turn out. I've done enough stuff. Anyway, all that to say, I knew they were hanging out because I could feel it. I could literally feel them talking about me, asking, discussing, like not super harsh or anything. I could just feel them hanging out, talking. And then my mom wasn't responding to messages that I had sent. And I went, they're together. And a couple days later, she was like, oh, I was with Alicia. Like, of course. You are so right, Pamela. Dawn, new beginnings, which means things are ending. But instead of seeing it as things are ending, what is it that you're inviting, right? So before you make the shift, it is coming to the end. I think there is definitely like a why like a why try type of feeling. People can always choose to try and give you their energy. You know, if it's not getting equalized, they can always choose the same. Everyone has the same ability of choice. We just might not have the same ability to like care and to show care. And that it feels like they're definitely lacking some skills in that, which means, you know, that will be the case. And if that is really challenging, toxic, or difficult, then absolutely it needs to come to some kind of end. Yeah, autumnal equinox release. So can it get any more clear, right? New beginnings, release. New beginnings could also be a new beginning with, I think, I don't know. It feels like with your sister, there could be like just like a new beginning, a new way of like, hey, I'm not taking any of this anymore. Here's how we're going to relate to each other. I don't get the same feeling with your mom, unfortunately, but I don't know. You'll see. You'll see. Life will show you. Life will show you. Oops. Yeah, it says focus on love and look for the good in everyone. And I get the sense that like there's no need to make this like a dramatic thing, but there is a need to make it something that's clear because I think there's been a lot of like ambiguity in this dynamic with you, and it's led to you getting the short end of the stick pretty much every time. And there's no reason for that. There's just no reason. You deserve so much better than that. Deservingness is a really big thing coming up in the collective as well. Like, why put something in your life that doesn't need to be there? I was watching a show recently. There's a lot of tangent stories. Sorry about this, guys. I feel like in a very like chatty mood today, maybe, but maybe I should do more of these daily YouTube readings, like I say, because I won't feel like I have to catch up and tell you everything. But I was watching the show recently, and this woman was complaining that her sister was like really dramatic. It was just like, you know, one of these sort of reality shows. And the woman was complaining that her sister had been really dramatic, and that she'd been like saying bad things, and they aren't talking. And then every time these women got up to meet, it was like, oh, let's bring up the sister again. It was like really difficult for her. And there was one woman who was questioning this other woman, saying, hey, like, what can you do to make sure this doesn't impact you? This is clearly hurting you. And the woman who was affected said, there's absolutely nothing anyone can do. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped, and it's just going to be difficult, and it's just going to be hard. And I kind of was like, I was somewhere in between those two. Like, I recognize that we need to accept and be with when things are genuinely difficult. I also think, like, why wouldn't we choose to have less of that if needed and if desired? And a lot of the times we don't is because we don't feel like we actually deserve a chaos-free life. Like maybe if that person didn't have their sibling to focus on, their chaos would end up in some other area. So sometimes it's like safer to have the shadow or the chaos or the suffering contained to one area that we at least are familiar with. But holy, those things that we're familiar with feel like some of the biggest burdens, right? Like new stuff is a lot less burdensome. Let's see. I'm feeling a past life card here for Pamela as well. Alexandra, let me know if that resonated with you, if that helped you with your previous question. I just want to make sure that people are getting what they need. Okay. And then I see Cassie as well. Of the shadows that currently coming up and the cycle that's really being highlighted, find them in a place where I'm able to really sit with instead of being triggered. That's amazing. That's like the whole point, right? Is that you see something come in, you go, whoa, and you take a minute, you process it, you know, you do what you need to do in whatever degree it's coming in. And it's sort of lessening the reactivity to it allows you to be able to process it so much better. It's so difficult to process anything, to handle anything or feel capable when our nervous system is like out of whack. So I like to take my time really making a space mind, take all the time you need. There's a kind of root that can be planted in that process. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thanks, Alexandra. Thanks. Okay. Pamela. Past life. Trust and faith. That's interesting. It's very interesting. I saw like very instantly your sister having a past life as a nun, and I'm not sure how that would relate to this current thing that you're going through, but I really clearly was like, you you were like bonded in some way. Maybe you were her mom, or maybe you were like a sibling or something. I don't know, but you had some kind of maybe you're even just cousins or really good friends, but you were really connected to your sister, and then she chose to go off to. You were a nun? Were you actually a nun, Pamela, in life, in this life? I feel like your sister was in a past life, and that, so maybe there's like, I feel it really clearly with your sister previous. Interesting. It's interesting. I feel like your sister shares that quality, but in a different lifetime, if that even makes sense. And I actually feel like the sister was like way, way, way before you were a nun. Um, so it makes a lot of sense. You're like following in each other's steps. And sometimes, I don't know, role modeling for a sister can be really difficult, and it happens both ways, right? But can be really difficult because sometimes you have to like just bite the bullet, do the right thing, and wait it out. And that's what I feel like is a time for you right now with your sister, is like bite the bullet, do the thing that feels right, do the thing that will actually in the long term protect and strengthen your connection by making your boundaries really clear, and also making your desires, your wants for your connection really clear. And then like have trust and faith that actually, everyone's making the right choices that they need to be making right now for their lives. Your sister, I feel like, waffles a lot on how she's handling this. And so it's like a time for you to stand strong. It's really interesting that you have a past life as a nun, because I feel so, so clearly that you had to let your sister go to join a convent years and years and years before that life happened. That's really fascinating. So I'm wondering what might come through for you as you continue to feel into that. I'm going to zap myself back to this timeline. That was really fascinating. Thanks for letting me get a little glimpse into that. Past life stuff does not always come up, but when it does, it's quite fascinating, isn't it? Helps us understand these patterns and why we might feel that like frustration or separation from self. This violet incense is going nuts. Has so much to say right now. I love that it's just sort of like clearing our feed, eh? It almost looks kind of purple and wispy, some of the ways that it's coming through. Okay. Svetlana, hello again. Am I going to travel this August, and any positive changes? Oh, I wish I brought I'm like, do I have a pendulum here? I don't. That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to check if you're going away. And, you know what? Do I? Oh, I do. My goodness, you guys. It's like so close to me. I made a whole bunch. So I was like, how did I have no pendulums? Let me do this pendulum for Svetlana here. And then a manifestation card as well. Any positive changes? I do feel like some positive stuff coming for you, Svetlana. I definitely don't feel negative changes. I do feel like there's some good stuff happening in your life. I think, yeah, Pamela, I think walking away from mom will at least allow your energy to come fully back to you, because it's just so difficult to navigate family and karmic kind of ties when we're not feeling as full ourselves. And it just feels like very leechy energy, and like something that really gets at self-esteem, and like the core essence of who you are is like challenged by that connection, even being in your energetic orbit. And again, I don't feel like it has to be a dramatic thing, but it might need to be a clear thing. Yeah, just not validated. No, and I mean, I think everyone needs to earn their spot in your life, as well as you need to earn your spot in theirs. Like there has to be this exchange in a way. I'm not really one, and this has come up many times in my life. It doesn't come up with my closest friends, but I'm not one to actually just feel like we need to be loyal without there being that ongoing exchange, because otherwise, we drift in and out of people's lives, and then we're always like counting and checking and keeping score. When we feel like it's equalized, we don't even need to do that. Svetlana, may I ask one more question? What my life will be after 3 years? Why after 3 years? I'm just curious why you ask it that way. Let's see. Yeah, why after 3 years? It's just funny to me. It's like in 3 years' time, I hope that blank, blank, blank. This is a cute one. It has a butterfly charm and a like waspy bee kind of charm on it. I think it's more like a wasp, but maybe it's like a cute little bee. Anyway, so is Svetlana going to travel this August? I'm getting a no for August, but a yes for September. So it may be just like later on. Maybe later on. Would that work for you to be able to travel in September? Might give you a bit more space to practice things and to like get things prepped, and to make the trip like what you want. I also see you spending some like really beautiful alone time on this trip, or yeah, on this travel. Like that it's really important for you to get time that's just quiet and peaceful and fills up your cup. And maybe I'm also getting this feeling of looking out at water, like with like a tea or coffee or something, and just being like in the zone. Okay, we also have appreciation dissolves all blocks to the presence of my super attractor power. So yeah, it's like sitting with your tea or coffee and just being so thankful to be alive and so grateful for the life you have and getting to go away. Like someone might help you with this trip, and because of that help you're able to actually enjoy yourself, which would be so lovely. It's good to feel good. This is for all of us. It is good to feel good. Seriously, so many people stop themselves from feeling good. We feel like it's too much. It's tough to hold all that. It can be difficult to feel deserving of it. We're not used to it. Someone always gets in our way when we feel good. It always gets ruined. So we might as well not even get to feeling good. There's people suffering in the world. Like this came up for me, right? I had a situation recently where I was like really, really feeling compassion for someone who is going through a lot. And I was like really, really feeling like, man, I should not enjoy my life because this exists for that person right now. That's their reality. And they were really like pushing their reality on me as like, this is what life is like for me. And being witness to that is hard. It's hard to admit that life is hard for people. And it's so good for you to continue feeling good. It actually doesn't mess up anything. It doesn't ruin anything. Like I wouldn't be like insensitive, but it's very difficult to actually be that insensitive just because you're in a good mood. Um, and allowing yourself to feel good means indulging in the fullness of your dreams and desires as well, because I get this sense often in this collective that there's like a little bit of a pullback from actually embracing the fullness of what it is you're actually wanting. Like kind of like I get this feeling sometimes in this group that it's like I have a feeling of what I want, but I'm not really going to say it to the biggest, because if I do, then that means I have to do it, and that requires a lot of change. And I don't think I'm ready for change. Like I don't know if I'm fully ready for that. So allow me, your fiery sister friend, to help light up the flame that says, yeah, you can actually do pretty much anything that has been landed in your mind and heart as a dream of yours. um, so what my life will be like after 3 years, I'm curious why you ask it that way, Svetlana. I'm also going to go back to Alexandra's question. Please let me know if anyone else has any other questions. um, yeah, Alexandra's other question: my landlord cut the grass at both houses 2 times, and brought me the bill for $900 for that. I won't pay that. What's your feeling on my future action? I can cut near the cottage only. Um, I am gonna have a funny opinion because I just feel like there's like bigger things in life than this lawn. And I feel like this energy of the house and the location is so out of your field, but you're still in it. So it feels like a big disconnect and a big like dissonance, really. It's like one thing is not matching your inside. The the message I feel for you, and I'm going to pull a manifestation card for you as well, Alexandra, but the message I feel for you is that even this question is way outdated as far as what your energy needs to be focusing on. I still feel such a heavy resistance in your energy field to being able to look at the future with hope and with drive. And that is way, way, way more important than a lawn and a bill. And that stuff will all get sorted out. This says, in stillness, I receive. And I don't have to fear my fear. I can use it as a way to get closer to love. I would ask yourself, I know this might seem like a little bit of like me not answering the question. It's just sometimes when these questions come in, I just feel so clearly what they're pointing to. And that question is pointing to a focus on this current situation and trying to resolve and being in it. And actually, like, I really think all of your energy needs to be put into what's next and where you're going, because this has been so out of whack and not in an energetic match and not in flow, not in alignment, not easy for so long. And things, when they're aligned, feel easy, like they just happen. And it's so, like, you put that intention out there, you talk to a couple people, and then suddenly the idea takes off. That's when we know that something's really good. And this one, it just keeps feeling like more and more hurdles and bigger ones, and then they're putting sandbags on top of them, and and then they take away your shoes. It's like, how the heck are you supposed to get through that? And the reason I think is, you're not supposed to go through it. You're supposed to go around it. Just go around it to what's actually waiting for you on the other side, without having to climb this huge mountain in between. Okay, so I will need to switch off to go to Soul Circle Oracle momentarily, but let me ask. Okay, Pamela, would a letter be appropriate? She is very challenging to explain things to. I get that. I feel that. Yeah, let's feel into this letter thing. Because I was getting the sense that she would be confused and upset by a final something that feels like, this is it, there's no more, I am not interacting with you. And it can be very difficult, even in writing, right? It can be difficult for us to misread things through text. That's it happens easily the same way text through writing. Was it Angela or Allison that was a nun? Oh, that's interesting. I feel more Allison. You're welcome, Alexandra. You're welcome. Thank you for taking all of my oracle support in to your heart and letting it sit there, rather than, it can be easy for us to react and be like, I don't like that. This doesn't work. This doesn't fit. And it's so nice that I feel the trust with all of you here to take in what I'm saying as something that's valuable or useful, or maybe will be later. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a letter could do. I get why you wouldn't want to talk in person. I get that it wouldn't just be like a texty, email-y type thing. I don't feel like it needs to be very formal and certain, and I don't think it needs to have any reasoning in it. So that's what I would caution you with this letter, Pamela, is that I feel like if you put in why you're doing something and listing reasons, that she'll hang on to those. And there's no sense in doing that. There's no sense in like adding something to someone else's plate, even though, of course, I'm sure they've added to yours. There's no real sense in doing it back. So it's really more like, what is it that you need? And what is the barrier or boundary? When could she talk to you again? Yeah, I didn't think you would. I literally felt no energy of social media. Yeah, it's kind of like, however short and compassionate, but clear, but not like shut the door type of messaging, I think, is how that would have to be worded. And you have some time, like, you have a few weeks at least before this becomes like oh my gosh, you have to deal with this now kind of energy. But I think writing it will help you anyway, so it's a good thing to start with. I just feel like it's like it needs to kind of be a condensed thing and not something that sometimes it's helpful when we get like a really big letter from someone and we can actually really understand lots of details and reflect on it. That does not feel like what this situation calls for. It feels like a kind, sweet, I love you, and this is what's happening. And this is what's happening. There's not like a way that she can change it. And here's the allowance of when we could talk again. Or, if someone was ill, she could reach out then, right? Or like something like that, whatever it needs to be for you to feel comfortable and not like second guess yourself. I think it's so important that you just feel like you made the right decision for yourself through this. So, thank you everybody for being here. I have my PayPal donation link on my website, so you can see that down below. I am changing some stuff up on my website. I think it's looking better already. I'm happy about that, and bringing out some more hypnotherapy things. I'm also gonna bring out some more intuition tools. And yeah, I have an Align Your Business group starting up. So that is exciting. Invites went out for that this week. But if you are interested, if you have a business and you would like to feel like you are aligned with it, and that also you're taking care of things in a way that feels energetically matched to you, or you're just wanting to learn more about tech things. I did used to be a virtual assistant, and so I do love helping people learn things with their business and teaching business or like lifestyle design kind of concepts. And so that's what we'll be covering in the Align Your Business accountability support group. I love having an accountability group for my own work. I love being able to just show up somewhere, have someone care and talk about it, because entrepreneurship can be a bit of like a weirdly lonely kind of road otherwise. So it's nice to kind of build in coworkers in a sense. So yeah, if you're interested in that, let me know. If you were here in the replay, also let me know. And thank you, all 6 of you, or maybe more. Sometimes YouTube doesn't tell me the right numbers, but thank you all 6 of you for being here. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a like before you head out, I'd be eternally grateful. I'm really loving seeing this channel climb, even when I didn't make any videos this week, other than the weekly live collective. So it's really exciting to see this channel grow. Make sure you are liked and subscribed if you want to see things that come up. And I've got the next few weekly live collectives already scheduled. So you can go in and you can like click notify me on all of them, and then you'll get the notification that I'm coming back here. But I know some of our regular crew is just used to this time now. Thank you all for being here, and enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your week. And yeah, take care of yourself this week. Go with the flow, take some deep breaths, and we'll all get through it totally fine on the other side. Yeah. You have a wonderful day as well. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.